The studio lights burned hot as Dan Bongino leaned forward in his chair, his eyes locked on Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett like a predator about to pounce. This wasn't going to be just another political interview. From the moment she stepped into the studio, it was clear that something seismic was about to unfold. Bongino, jaw tight and voice taut with tension, was already coiled like a spring. "You think you can come on my show and lie to my audience?" He barked, his fist hammering the desk, the sound reverberating through the set. Cameras rolled, America watched, and Jasmine Crockett, she didn't so much as blink. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't lean back. She just smiled, faint, composed, dangerous, like someone who'd not only seen this move before, but had already rehearsed her checkmate. What happened next would send tremors through every corner of political media. But before we get to that moment, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell, because moments like this, you won't want to miss them. What unfolded in the next 20 minutes didn't just shake up political discourse, it redefined it. Bongino had made his name bulldozing Democrats, interrupting, grandstanding, declaring victory before his guests could finish a sentence. He thrived on aggression. But this time, he was up against a Texas congresswoman who didn't come to play defense. She came to dismantle him, calmly, precisely, and with devastating skill. Hours earlier, Bongino had paced his studio, briefing notes scattered, adrenaline already pumping. He'd run through the plan with his producer. Hit her fast, find a weak spot, and don't let up. They had a script. They had angles. They had a strategy. What they didn't count on was Crockett being unshakable. She'd been there early, reviewing, anticipating, preparing for every possible ambush. She knew exactly what kind of show this was. And unlike many of Bongino's past guests, she wasn't walking in blind. She wasn't flustered. She was surgical. Bongino's team had crafted a playbook. They'd seen Democrats fall apart under pressure before, lose their cool, raise their voices, get lost in the weeds. But Crockett? She brought the one thing Bongino couldn't bully, facts, delivered with lawyerly precision and the calm of someone who's fought harder battles than a podcast studio. The interview kicked off with familiar territory, questions about economic policy, the middle class, tax bills. Bongino leaned in. "Your party claims to help working families, but your votes are crippling them. How do you sleep at night?" Classic setup, loaded language, designed to rattle. Crockett's response was measured, data-driven, real-life examples from her district. And Bongino, he pounced. "That's not an answer." "Don't give me talking points," he snapped, but it was an answer, a full one. He just didn't like it, and the cameras caught everything. Crockett didn't take the bait. "Mr. Bongino, I answered your question and provided evidence. If we're having a real conversation, I'd be glad to elaborate further." Strike one. The studio energy shifted. His voice rose. Her posture stayed relaxed. Bongino was used to loud winning, but Crockett's quiet was louder. Then came the immigration trap. "You represent Texas. You vote like you've never even seen the crisis at the border. How do you justify endangering Americans?" A bomb. Crockett disarmed it. "I've worked firsthand with border officials and bipartisan leaders. I've walked those communities. I've crafted policy, not sound bites. If we want to discuss solutions, I'm ready." Strike two. Bongino started to crack. You could hear it in the pitch of his voice. "You Democrats come here and play games. My audience sees through you." "Then let's give them substance," Crockett countered. "I'm not here for theater. I'm here for truth." Strike three. By now, the social media clips were already being sliced up. Bongino's red face, Crockett's poised delivery. Twitter erupted. YouTube flooded with reaction videos. Commentators from both sides chimed in. Bongino, once the untouchable aggressor, looked off balance, rattled. Even his own viewers noticed something different. This wasn't the usual shouting match. This was a political masterclass. The message was clear. Preparation beats provocation. Poise beats posturing. And in the age of viral media, how you say something matters just as much as what you say. What made this encounter iconic wasn't just that Crockett held her ground. It was how she flipped the dynamic. She didn't match aggression with aggression. She let it unravel itself. Bongino couldn't dominate the conversation because she refused to play by his rules. Crockett's background as a civil rights attorney, as someone who'd stood in courtrooms, defending the voiceless, showed in every calm rebuttal. She wasn't there to score points. She was there to lead by example. And by the time the camera stopped rolling, the power dynamics had flipped completely. Bongino, who had built a career on controlling the narrative, had been outmaneuvered on his own turf. This wasn't just another viral interview. It was a shift in the political media landscape, a moment where intelligence outpaced intensity, and a reminder that sometimes the quietest voice in the room is the one that echoes the loudest. Jasmine Crockett didn't just win an argument. She showed a country, desperate for civility, that grace under fire is still the most powerful weapon in politics. I've come prepared with facts, data, and real-world examples. If we're actually going to discuss policy, I'm here for it. But if this is just about theater, I'm not playing that part. That's when it all began to unravel. Dan Bongino's face flushed crimson, his voice rising to the frequency longtime listeners knew signaled one thing: detonation. Cameras rolled as the heat in the studio reached a boiling point, and everyone knew they were witnessing a moment that wouldn't just trend, it would explode. Drama? You think this is about drama? Bongino roared, voice fully in the red zone now. This is about your party destroying this country. My listeners are struggling, and your policies are ripping food off their tables. But Crockett didn't flinch. No raised voice, no defensive pivot. She didn't even blink. Instead, she smiled. Not a smug, sarcastic grin, a calm, measured, professional smile, the kind that doesn't need volume to deliver power. Instantly, the dynamic flipped. Bongino was the one unhinged. Crockett? She was the anchor in the storm. And that's what unraveled him further. Realizing he wasn't rattling her, Bongino upped the ante. He stood, leaned over the desk, finger pointed, voice at full blast. You think you can come into my house on my show and lie to my audience? You think you're so smart just because you're some hotshot lawyer from Texas? I've been doing this longer than you've been in politics. The studio's audio engineers were scrambling to contain the decibels. His shouting could have passed for a construction zone. Meanwhile, Crockett stayed seated, unmoved, perfect posture, hands calmly folded in her lap, eyes locked onto him with unwavering resolve. It wasn't just powerful, it was disarming. And then, she spoke. Mr. Bongino, she began, her voice composed, clear, and devastating. I can see that you're passionate. I respect that. But your audience deserves more than to watch you yell at a guest who came in good faith to have a real conversation. Boom. One line. A direct hit. She acknowledged his fervor without validating his aggression. She positioned herself as the adult in the room. She appealed to the audience's basic sense of fairness, and in one sentence, flipped the narrative. You could hear the silence. It buzzed. Bongino stood there, mid-shout, jaw slightly open, stunned. Then she delivered another strike. I understand. That controversy is your business model, and it's clearly worked for you. But I'm not here to be a prop in your performance. I'm here to talk about real issues affecting real people. The moment his face changed, caught perfectly by the cameras, was when even he realized the trap he set just snapped shut on him. He looked like a bully. She looked like a pro. Then came the line that would dominate headlines, TikToks, and comment threads across the country. If you'd like an adult conversation about policy, I'm ready. But if you just want to yell and point fingers, you can do that without me. That silence afterward, deafening. Bongino's voice finally dropped. I'm not yelling, he mumbled, contradicting every mic and eardrum in the room. Her response? Precision again. Mr. Bongino, I've answered every question with facts and examples. I haven't shouted, pointed fingers, or insulted your character. That contrast speaks for itself. And just like that, it was over. What began as Bongino's ambush became Crockett's triumph. His questions suddenly felt small. Her answers only reinforced her composure. By the end, Bongino's swagger had vanished, replaced with the haunted look of someone who'd lost control of his own narrative. Crockett thanked him graciously as she left, the picture of calm professionalism. He sat there, red-faced and speechless. The cameras didn't miss a second. Then the internet got to work. Clips flooded X, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Crockett stays calm, trended within an hour. Side-by-side edits went viral. Bongino shouting and gesturing like a volcano about to blow. Crockett serene, unshaken. No commentary needed. The footage said it all. What shocked everyone was how universal the response was. Liberal media had their moment, sure. But even prominent conservatives were admitting it. Been a Bongino fan for years, but Crockett handled that like a pro. He lost the plot. We can disagree without looking like we're losing our minds. Comment sections on Bongino's own channels weren't kind. I came here for debate, not a meltdown. She made him look like a child throwing a tantrum. Political analysts lined up to weigh in. CNN brought in comms experts. One former White House media director called it a textbook example of how to handle a hostile interview with elegance and authority. But the biggest surprise? Bongino's own audience. Many said they felt let down, that Crockett had come to debate issues, and Bongino came to perform rage. Longtime listeners said the moment made them reevaluate what kind of political commentary they wanted. The shift was seismic. Political science professors assigned the clip as required viewing. Dr. Sarah Mitchell at Georgetown told her students, "This is the new model, less volume, more composure, less fire, more ice." Saturday night. Live ran with it. Their sketch had a Bongino impersonator screaming while Crockett calmly handed him water and asked if he needed a nap. Crockett's star rose fast. National interviews, magazine profiles, fundraising spiked. Small-dollar donors from every state poured in. Messages flooded her campaign. "I've never donated before, but after watching that, I had to." Even Democratic leadership took notice, fast-tracking her into national ads. Swing voters loved her. Republican strategists worried. Suddenly, calm wasn't just admirable, it was strategic. Bongino doubled down. Bad move. His post-interview statement? If she can't handle tough questions, she shouldn't be in Congress. Wrong. Read. Everyone had seen the tape. She handled the questions. He couldn't handle her answers. Even members of Congress were reaching out privately. One Republican rep admitted off the record, "I don't agree with her politics, but I respect how she handled that. That's someone you can work with." International media took note. The Guardian ran a spread. How one calm response shook American political media. Consultants updated their media training programs. Don't fight fire with fire, fight it with a glacier. In the end, this wasn't just a viral clip. It was a paradigm shift, a complete redefinition of what political power looks like in the age of performance outrage. Crockett didn't win because she yelled louder. She won because she didn't need to. Thanks for watching this breakdown of how Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett turned an ambush into a masterclass in professional political discourse. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the moments that reshape politics. And let us know, is Crockett's calm the future, or is the age of shouting far from over? We'll see you in the next video where we'll break down how this viral moment is changing the way politicians and their media teams prepare for high-stakes interviews. Stay tuned.